Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Metal video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Omega Shenron and how you can beat him for stage 3 of the Dokkan 2025 special campaign battle event. So basically we're going to take a look at how you can beat stage 3. He has 680 million health, 800k normal, 60,000 for defense and 67 damage reduction percentage. He greatly raises attack for 1 turn on his super, causes colossal damage and guaranteed stuns the enemy for 1 turn. He also has a 25% chance to fire off a super attack. Generally speaking, he's going to fire that super attack off within the first 2 characters, but generally it'll be at the unit in your first slot, which means that you're likely to have that unit, kind of stunned. In terms of just the general flow, 2.4 million super, pretty tough, but it's more the AoEs. So the AoEs do 800k and then 400k respectively, but they get uplifted when he supers. So when he's supering and uplifting by 50%, that means his AoEs then do 1.2 million and 600k. So immediately, you're dealing with a much different entity after he supers, and those AoEs can start to really sting. So you need units that can handle the AoEs, whether that's through raw defense and then being strength, whether it's through a combination of guard and damage reduction, or whether it's through evasion. It doesn't matter. It's also important to note that if you're using a unit that taunts, like Tech Vegito for example, those units, their taunts do not work against AoE attacks. So you can I think that is really something that's really difficult. So I think that's the biggest challenge, really, is dealing with those AoEs. 2.4 million super attack is not the hardest thing to deal with in the world, at least by today's standards. He disables attack and defense down, he nullifies super attack ceiling, he has immunity to being stunned, he recovers HP and he locks character switching, all of which is quite difficult. The character switching is probably the most annoying trait of any Shenron fight, and I think a lot of players will agree with that, as the character switching is largely the reason why you can end up struggling a little bit, because when you switch with characters, so when you do that switch, you do end up having a problem whereby basically you are going to now have the wrong character in that position. So just from the point of view of defense, it's always something that's difficult. Having characters in the wrong position, not having your first slot tank in the right position, not having your X character in the right position, like, it's always a challenge. And then on top of that, it's the damage. You can miss out crucial links, you can have units that perform less damage in certain positions, or need certain orbs or certain requirements. So it's never like a super easy situation to be in. Like, you're not just dealing with them locking the wrong character who's going to die. You're also losing out on damage, you're also losing out on synergy, you're probably losing out on 2 turn buffs, 3 turn buffs, specific buffs, links, all those sort of things. So it's important when building your team that you keep it as versatile as possible. Don't have units that are locked down by position. Don't have units that need certain conditions to work. Don't have units that can't be met, or requirements can't be met because you shifted them or moved them, or had them accidentally moved to slot 3 and now they're missing 2 turns. Like, that's the biggest issue, I think. So keeping your team flexible, versatile, is something that's very good. Something I enjoyed doing with the Kamehameha team. I think it worked really well for that reason. I had versatile units that did great damage. You look at like the Gohan, you look at like all these units that do great damage, that have their active skills, their standby skills, all of these things, and they worked really nicely. I think it came across really nicely. Kaioken Goku, great damage with his active skill, very versatile, and I saved his active skill for when he got locked in turn 1, because when he gets locked in the first turn, the first slot, by using his active skill you can activate his on turn supers, and that activates his defense and makes him tank much better. Same thing with like the Vegito actives. I used them to help prevent damage or supers when I had units that were in bad positions. The same thing with the giant ape, used it to kind of break the supers, break the position. Gohan's active as well, saved it for if he got locked in slot 1. So all of the time I'm using these actives to save units when they're in bad positions defensively, letting them activate their full defense, letting them activate everything they need. Like you can see here with Goku, leaving him in slot 1, letting him activate that active, do the damage, get himself sorted out. And all these things come together really, really importantly, and it's how you use them to make sure that you save your units. The standby for Gohan, a little bit different, obviously. Letting that do the big damage it needs to do, letting that kind of do its thing, scoring that big damage, scoring that free damage, and then he's fine afterwards. So it's just all comes down to correct utilization of the actives, because your team can get locked into any shape. So saying things like, oh, this unit needs to be slot 1, this unit needs to be slot 2, this unit needs to do this, that doesn't work, because the units can be in 1,000 different positions, and it can be locked to certain positions and slots and things, and it's just not going to work if you try to build your team around that, because your team is going to get locked and it's going to get held up. So I think ultimately for me it was a pretty fun team. I think it was really, really good, and I had a great time running it. Honestly, I had a very, very good time. I think for me personally, this was a lot of fun. Didn't take any real attempts. It took the one attempt. But it was fun to do that one attempt. I think it was really good. It's an interesting challenge, locked in place, AoEs. It's always something that's interesting. And I think gives you a big kind of incentive to work around. So I do find it all works out very nicely. And that pretty much covers it. Honestly, I think that is really it for the strategy. I don't think there's a lot players need to do or focus on aside from correct uses of those active skills. And I think everything will go fine. So that's probably it from me. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like. It's always greatly appreciated. We'll finish it off with this active skill. And I think that's it from me. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, as always, take care, stay safe, and bye.